Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and Pete is trying to get in here, but apparently my link is giving him issues right this second. Going to be a good show today. We're going to be discussing law, and I probably just sent half the people running off of the live stream right now, so there's a reason that I want to discuss it. Send another link. Okay. I'll try it again here. Try it again. See what happened. I just refreshed the StreamYard also when I saw that you were popping in and out. So maybe it just needed to grab a better hold of the signal or something. But anyway, so the reason I want to bring this up is because what we're seeing is an absolute collapse of law. Look at that. Almost got me, Pete. What the hell's going on? I see you popping in and out. I don't know. You had a boiled egg for breakfast? Your tummy hurts. Well, just think of the people that are going to be around you that you're going to hurt later from eating an egg. But anyway, so yeah.
I was thinking about doing that too.
Anyway, I'm trying to get Pete in here. I know he's fighting it right now. Just wave my hand at you folks for jumping in here. Carmageddon over here on D-Live jumped in here already. I got 5 people lurking over there. I got Margot, got Duke, Big Dog, Namvet, how you doing? Margot again, Michael Lowe, Brian Griffin, Luciano, Jeff B, Duke Rawl, Phil C, how you doing? 12B Georgia's in the house. Eric Snow. One we got Jab Neil 7 Kelly 22 Hondo. Yeah, man, looking forward to you getting down here to Florida. We need some more Patriots in this state. Patriots in the house. Phil C again there, and got everybody repeating themselves. Northern Tigers in the house. Look at that. Disabled Vets Perspective is here. Conservative Patriot, how you doing? Good to see you. Northern Tiger, I think I already said that one. I'm pretty sure I did. Frank Morell's in the house. All right. Getting up here to the top of my list of good ones. C, good to see ya. All right, and then 223 DMR. And your tactical Syntax contributor. Yeah, Syntax, good. All right, so looks like Pete is in and solid. So let me get back, scroll down here to the bottom so I can get going on the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and hello, Chris. Good to see you. Or don't, Pete, the Patriot. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Here I am.
I can hear you just fine. I hear you. Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, can you see me?
Hello, Philip. Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. I can see you, but you can't hear me, or I don't know.
Okay, good.
Mindy, Patriot
right,
Angel, thank
I'm
you
here.
for the ice cream. Okay, good. So we got full audio, full video, everything's good to go. Philip Turner, good to see you, brother. Who else was that just jumped in there? Chameleon Lizard, welcome, Rebel Jack, good to see you. All right, you got me?
I got you.
He don't got me. Oh,
I
he got
you.
me. All right. Well, I don't know if you heard from the beginning while you were fighting, trying to get that link to work, but I wanted to discuss law in this panel today. There's a reason for it, because we seem to be having a collapse in our system of law, and that goes all the way to the top. Hello, Teresa. So, obviously, we see it in the cities that the law is being told to stand down while criminals are allowed to have free reign. But another one specifically that got my attention was I was listening to Guns and Gadgets this morning, And if you guys don't have Guns and Gadgets, you need to get him because he is a very good source for Second Amendment news, one of the best. And there are 10 cases pertaining to the Second Amendment that were brought before committee of the Supreme Court, and they've been kicking them down the road since February of last year. And today, or Friday, I guess, they decided that they were going to not take any of them up. They were going to dismiss them from the Supreme Court. So that means that the Supreme Court has made a conscious decision to allow tyranny to continue to thrive in these states where the Second Amendment rules and laws are being implemented on people illegally and against the Constitution. So what is your thought on that?
My honest thought, or do you want me to give you a mainstream, I don't know, a mainstream thought?
Wow, that's a difficult one.
It is a difficult question.
Right, well, let's start with your honest opinion.
In my honest opinion, firearms is the key to everything that this government is trying to do to us. And I mean that in the literal sense, everything. There are no plans that can be implemented. There is no riots that can be quelled. There's none of this stuff that can happen if the American people are armed. And what do they say, that the fish stinks from the head down? I don't think you can get any higher than the Supreme Court.
Right.
So once again,
I want to thank Tony for dropping that diamond on me. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey,
favorite YouTube Tony? Duo. Right on.
So what
when it reaches the Supreme Court and they still screw you.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. It's our delay thing.
Yeah, but that's like exactly what you're saying is that what I say all the time on my show is that don't look at it as Democrats and Republicans. You can't look at it that way. You look at it as us and them. You have to look at it as us and them because, wow, we have the majority now on the Supreme Court. Everything is going to be great. Trump did a great job with Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and all this stuff. And we have nothing. We have nothing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what we were supposed to gain by Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, because to me, the decisions that have gone through the Supreme Court have tended to be sort of left-leaning or status quo, as it were. And I don't know how you get past that. But real quick, I want to make for the sake of YouTube, I'm going to make this disclaimer here before I put up the chat and bring up some folks on the panel. Opinions expressed in this show may not represent the opinions or Pete the Patriot or Disabled Vets Perspective. The First Amendment protects a person's right of free speech and opinion. So if you have a differing opinion, then you can go screw yourself. No, wait, that wasn't the official disclaimer, I don't think. All right, well, anyway, that works. But I'm going to put this link up here. Uh-oh. Tell him you didn't want to talk to him anyway.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm putting the link up here, and if you folks have something on your mind about what you're seeing in our system of law or anti-law, then by all means, I would love to welcome you up here. Just to understand that when we get up here, we can't all speak at the same time because we have a stupid lag of about 1.5 seconds. So it'll just squelch everybody out when that happens. I did just put that link up. Yeah, I did. All right. So where do we go from here, Pete?
That's a difficult question to answer too, because there are many people who are already on the bandwagon of we need to pick up a weapon and start eliminating people. There's many, very, very, very many people who are on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
But
I'm
as
seeing
far
that too.
as far as where we go from here, the one thing that's most important, no matter what the Supreme Court says, no matter what the states say, no matter what anything says, is you as an individual American, whether you're a sovereign or
Right.
a citizen, never, ever give up your firearms. Throughout history, the downfall of society came by disarming the populace. And this is where everything starts.
Exactly.
So you need to just never, ever, ever give it up.
Well, here's the cold, hard truth. If they decide that we can no longer have guns, then you have
who's
one
we?
of the hardest decisions that you're going to make. We,
Who's
the
we?
people, you're gonna have one of the hardest decisions that you'll ever have to make, because if you give up your guns, you're gonna die. If you don't give up your guns, somebody is going to come to your house with the attempt to take them, and you may still die. So it's a very tough decision, but you have to decide, are you going to die with liberty and stand up fighting for your rights, or are you going to die as a submissive lamb and just lay down at the feet of your tyrants? And we got hippies for Trump right here. I'm going to pull him up real quick. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. My voice is a little sore. Yesterday, I live streamed 2 hours on top of an overpass over Interstate 10. I had 8 flags, some American flags, some Trump flags, Second Amendment flags. I was out there for about 2 hours. So, voice is a little sore, but I'm doing great, man. How are y'all?
Excellent.
Doing awesome.
Hey,
Good to have you on the show, man. What you got on your mind?
Absolutely, I appreciate the allowing me to be on the show. First of all, I just started a call-in show. So much love. Anybody that wants to come participate in that, it's a First Amendment. Any caller, any topic. But really, the main reason why I wanted to jump on is because of 10millionmarch.com. It started with just another channel.com. He's an info warrior, goes on the war room and things like this. He got the Paul Revere Award from Alex Jones, first individual ever to get the Paul Revere Award. And basically, it's every state capital in D.C. this 4th of July. And it's really weird because it was created before all this. But now that we see this manifest and happening, I think it's more critical now than ever that we show unity amongst the patriots, because it seems like everybody's waiting for the next individual to do something, or the first shot to be fired, or whatever the case is. But we need to show our unity, kind of like revive the American spirit, the spirit of 1776 or whatever. And we see them wanting to take over our capitals with this communist, because let's face it, that's exactly what it is. It's a Luciferian communist one world order agenda. And we see them taking over, or wanting to take over, our capitals in this country. So 10millionmarch.com, it's like term limits, audit the Fed, repeal the Smith Modernization Act, which is Obama. It was in the 40s. Obama in 2014, I think, or 12. He allowed propaganda on American citizens on American soil, the Smith Modernization Act. So there's a list of demands on the About page. There's also a forum page. Now, when you go to the forum, I think it says like only 11 people signed up. That doesn't count. Like, if you sign up for 10 Million March, that doesn't count for the forum. You also have to sign up for the forum. So don't be discouraged when you only see 11 people on the forum. The forum is there. That way we can organize with fellow people out of our state and like that, because we want it to last all day. If every state capital all across this country had patriots there with pro-American signs, pro-American message, How can the media say we're divided? How can the media say they can't go with the narrative of the Black Lives Matter, of the Antifa? Because here's this: patriots all over the country, one single day at their state capitol, standing up for America. It would mess up their narrative.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Well, first of all, they wouldn't cover
Well, I
it.
agree with you.
Well, they're not going to cover it. That's why it's up to
That was
us.
what I was going to say.
They're not going to broadcast the revolution. That's why we need everybody.
No. They are broadcasting the revolution, just
Well,
not
they're-
our revolution.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Right.
You got to understand that the mainstream media is owned by 8 corporations,
Right.
11 individuals who make the decisions on what is seen and what is not seen on television.
Right.
If we got 1 million patriots to march on Washington tomorrow, the news story would be COVID-19 in China as a resurgent through a mouse.
Yeah.
That would be the main story running. So as much as I understand you, I'm compassionate for you and all that stuff like that, without having a media outlet, and I'm not talking about a YouTube or a D Live or something like that, to cover the cause doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, it don't mean I'm not going to try.
Well, it's going to be
No,
up to people like us.
You better try. You know what I'm saying? You keep
Absolutely.
going. I'm not trying to discourage you.
You have
one
to
bit.
do it.
Right.
You want to get out there and do it, go do
You
it.
have to do
Look,
it.
man, I made 100
And you have
protest
to- you
signs.
have to
I had
broadcast
12.
it.
I'm sorry.
You got to be able to
Alex.
broadcast it somehow. So part
Right.
of the way
I
that
made 100
we can get ahead of the expression. Yeah, sorry about this, man. We got a little bit of a delay, so there's
I see a small delay.
sometimes we end up stepping on each other a little bit. But we have to get as many YouTubers and D-livers and patriots that are willing to broadcast something like this. We have to get them motivated to do it. And that means get as many of them there as possible, have it on as many channels as possible. You can bet that YouTube will do their best to try to squelch it. But the one way you might be able to fight that is in sheer numbers, just because you have, if one guy's live goes down, poof, another one pops up. And that's why I've been saying from the beginning of this thing is we as patriots, when I say put your links in the channel and everybody go coexist, it's because of this. We have to create a network, a communication forum so that we can all organize. The one thing that we have against us is our ability to organize. The left is incredible at it. They can make a tweet, and in 15 minutes, they have half the population running around in their blackface and, acting like hooligans. But patriots, we have to fight to organize something because patriots have lives and we're busy. Virginia was a huge success.
A lot of people think it's kind of silly.
It can be done.
A lot of people think it's silly to go out there and protest and hold a sign. Like this is what I hear.
No. You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. A lot of people want to get out there and they want to protest and they want to hold up signs. Look at Tony Patriot. Tony Patriot jumps over his wall and holds up signs. Tony Patriot works 80 hours a week. I mean, he does it when he can. Most people who are patriots got jobs. It's hard for us to gather in mass because a lot of us are working. That's the issue. When you're,
we have to support the liberals.
That's right. Somebody has to pay the welfare checks. Right. Somebody has to do that. And unfortunately, it's us. So it's not like we don't want to go out and protest or we don't want to go out and do what we have to do to support our cause. Time's a factor. When you're a 20-year-old and you're still on mom's insurance and you don't need that job, you can go out and protest.
Right.
Look, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I'm 35. Has this ever happened?
DK556 dropped me a hold on just a second. DK556 dropped me a super chat. Bold prediction: Biden's not fit for president. Michelle or Mike will run as Michael, the first black transgender woman. Biden will drop out after. I don't think that's too far fetched.
I don't think so either.
You know, I think old Mike's gonna try to be the one, but I also think they're gonna try to pull something like they did with Obama, and I think you're gonna find somebody that just appears that nobody's ever heard of. He's gonna have a forked tongue, a real sweet speaking conference kind of presentation about him, and you know, it's gonna be interesting to see. We'll put it like that.
That's right. Is this guy set in tile?
I am, man. Third generation. 70 years my family has been doing this in this area. Learned from my grandpa, dad, uncle.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's my
one of my least favorite things to do.
Yeah, yo, it's definitely, I mean, I love it. I grew up 12 years old on the floor, on the job carrying tiles.
Wow, very nice.
But
very nice.
I actually have a passion for it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, it does suck. It's hard to keep help. People don't like doing it. Yeah, it sucks, but I love it. I enjoy it.
And you see, you know what the advantage to that is?
Yeah, my son puts in tile.
I'll tell you what the advantage
he does flooring though.
That dude that went to college on the I am the transgender sideways flag wrapped around his head. I'm half Christian, half Muslim, half Buddhist, who got the degree in underwater basket weaving, right? Who now owes the government $290,000 in student debt, is going to call Hippies for Trump to install the tile in his bathroom, and Hippies for Trump is going to say, "Oh, it's a 8x6 bathroom, 12,000." And that guy is going to look at him and he's going to say, "I got to pay this guy $12,000 to tile."
Right.
That's a great trade. Right. Don't ever
because the dollar's going to collapse.
Yeah. And then so every job
so much.
But what is your
liberal people is that they put us down so much for being a ditch digger.
Yeah, but they put everybody down. It kind of, it's the duck back kind of thing. I don't have time for it anymore. I don't care about it. But my question is, you're seeing a mass exodus of police officers. Yeah. You're seeing a mass exodus of police officers from these liberal cities. And frankly, I think they're just getting frustrated and they're going to walk away. So the real potential of collapse of the big cities is closer at hand than it's ever been. And my question is, have either of you heard of a thing called separatism with reciprocity? Easy for me to say.
Yes and no. I've heard about it, but I don't know which context you're talking about it.
All right. Well, when you have separatism, what they do is we are reaching a point where we're going to have to separate from the liberals because we can't coexist. So the one way that can be done and it will work, right now, the liberal cities make the decisions for entire states because of their massive, stupid population. So in reciprocity or in separatism, reciprocity is basically prosecution for misleading the public. If you have reciprocity and you are a leading official or a representative of your citizenry and you mislead them in any way, you can be prosecuted at very high levels. Reciprocity basically is almost against the First Amendment, except when you're in a position of what they call authority, then it is entirely your responsibility to tell the truth to the public and keep them in the right direction without misleading or lying to them. And if you, as a representative of the public, do get caught lying to them, then you get very prosecuted, like massive jail times. And separatism is... Well, what's going to happen is it's going to have to happen. It's either going to happen with people shaking hands or it's going to happen with a gunfight. But what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to separate from these cities, and these cities will become city states. They will have they will be able to handle whatever they want within the borders of their city. but they will no longer have influence on the rest of the state. So I think that is the way to go. And what do you both think of it? I'll start with you, Pete, and then I'll go to you, Hippie.
That won't work for the simple reason is that there is not one independent state, no less a city, that can run without federal government dollars. It's impossible. The system was set up that way. Everybody wants to squawk about states' rights, states' rights, states' rights. But the governor of Minnesota, hashtag Mr. Frail, that little wimpy piece of crap that got thrown out of the protest, is now asking for hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government to clean up and fix the protest damage that he allowed. Otherwise, his city will not be able to recover.
Yep.
That's a myth. There is no states' rights. There is no independence from the government. The government designed it that way. There's not one state that can survive without federal dollars, period. So that whole thing is a myth.
You're missing something. No, you're saying separation of states. That's not what I'm talking about.
You're talking about
I'm not talking about secession. I realize that we can't do that. I'm talking about
cities within
the
state.
states separating from their cities.
Can't happen.
The cities would become city states. Like, for example, Miami. Right, but an example would be like Miami. Miami would become Miami, Florida, the state. It could happen, but it's going to be difficult. But I don't personally see another way, because we cannot coexist with the liberals.
Right, but here's what I'm saying.
What would be Miami's what?
GDP. What would be their gross domestic product? How would they sustain their education system? How would they sustain their food system? How would they sustain their citizens inside that?
Well, they already taxed everybody to oblivion.
But that's what I'm saying. If a union decided they didn't want to deliver food into the
they
country,
already bleed their citizens dry with taxes.
Yeah, see, it's just, I don't think it's feasible, Alex. I don't want to disagree with you because you get
it
all
would be
mad.
a city-state, not a country.
Right, but it doesn't matter. The entire state of Florida couldn't exist without federal dollars being influxed to them.
I do not get mad. Now knock that crap off. That's ridiculous.
Oh, come on now. You start pouting and stuff. I understand.
But
ask Mr. Hippie's here. What do you think?
I think if we just get back to really enforcing laws and at the root, because we're seeing.
All right. I'll stop pouting.
All right. We're seeing page agitators. We know who's funding this. We know who's behind this. So let's get back to a just society. Let's get these bastards and let's unbrainwash these children. We know it's happening in these higher education centers, and it's all propaganda. It falls under the Smith Modernization Act. We have to root out, like the mayor in Berkeley, who is a BAM, by any means necessary, Antifa sympathizer. We got to get those people out of, especially political offices. We got to get rid of that.
But the people keep voting them back in. How do you win when you have the population so stupid that they can't see they can't see the knife being plunged into their own chest, even if they're looking right at it?
That's why I propose this. This is what I think. If you're on government assistance, and I've been there, I was 20 years old, married with a kid already. I've been on food stamps before. I get it. But while you're on these government programs, you forfeit your ability to vote, your right to vote. Because when you have someone like Bernie Sanders and the majority of the population is on assistance, and here comes Bernie Sanders, I'm going to raise it, you're going to get more. Why would those people vote to not raise their handout? You know, that's one
public assistance is not in the Constitution, but voting is. You can't take away somebody's right to vote.
Right.
Okay.
It's not taking it away. It's just suspending it while they're on assistance. No one says.
How about I suspend your Second Amendment?
Well, they're already doing that.
Or your First Amendment rights.
What do you do? You know what I mean?
Right. You can't suspend the Constitution. Right.
You're right. I mean,
That's
you're
why
right.
we're talking about it today, because it falls into the category of what do you do? I
Yeah,
mean,
what do you
we
do?
reach a point where we see everything going on around us and everybody talks about what's going on around us. But then when you ask the question, okay, well, how do we fix this? One thing I saw was California Cricket. Good to see him. He
Hey.
says term limits. And I absolutely agree
Right.
with that. But here's the
Oh,
problem.
totally.
We've had a convention of states that has been implemented since probably around the midterm of Obama. And a convention of states is what's required to change amendments without the input of the lawmakers of Capitol Hill. The
Right.
convention of states requires 39 states get together, and then they have to submit their request for a convention of states to the Congress. And this is where it kind of messed up, because Congress is supposed to observe it. They're supposed to run a vote on it, and they're supposed to really accept it. It's not really supposed to be up for debate. But when it was submitted to Congress, they tabled it. So if the power has been taken away from the states to the extent where you cannot do a convention of states to change policy, then are we lost? Are we again back at the thing where we're going to have to shoot our way out of this hole, or how do we go?
You know, my big thing is awareness. With these protesters and stuff, I see their passion, and the people that are in our communities there, having this passion and want to voice their opinion. We need to, as patriots, we need to have discussions with them and kind of bring that passion to our side, because they're influenced by mainstream media, entertainment, movies, TV shows, and it's all a false paradigm. It's all not a true reality. And I feel like, yeah, it's going to be strenuous, and we're not going to have fun, and we're going to have these debates that we're going to be called crazy or whatever. But we're planting those seeds, and we need, because the only way to win this really is a war on ideology. We have to change the minds of the youth.
Wrong.
Okay.
Wrong. I hate to
All
say
right.
this to you, brother, but you're wrong. The only way to win this is with swift and blinding violence.
Yeah.
When your mom told you that violence never solved anything, she lied right to your face. Because violence,
And then she gave you a smack for trying to talk back to her.
Violence solves everything.
But wouldn't that just be a short-term win? I mean, what would stop it 20 years after the swift win?
There's not see, that's the thing. It's not a swift win. That's where
it has built up for many years. So it would be, the long-term effect would be that when you catch the people that are doing these capital crimes and against humanity, you make their disciplinary action extreme and public. And then you let the people know from that point forward, this is not going to be accepted in the future. If you try to do the same thing, your demise will be violent and public. And that's what it takes to get a population in line. When they see that the rule of law is 100%, it's not designed to help the big fat cat on Wall Street while it completely crushes the single family home, where the husband might get a couple of speeding tickets and all of a sudden he's got 30 days in jail, and they lose their house because he can't work. They lose their car. They lose all this shit. But this is where, again, going back to our core subject on this show, is the law. It has to be fixed. The prosecutions need to be extreme and severe for the people that do crimes against humanity and use their power to suppress people around them. And then we'll start getting some progress. But
what was it?
I want to take a second and thank Shanty Chauffeur Bear for the diamond. I appreciate you for that over there on D Live. If you're not on my D Live yet, please take a minute and go over there and follow me. My moderators have been dropping the link periodically, so if you do, please get over there and do that. and make sure you follow Pete the Patriot as well, and Hippies for Trump. You have yourself a D-Live channel, Hippie?
No, I just have a YouTube channel, Hippies for Trump, all one word with the number 4, and do call-in shows. It's really fun, and I travel. You know, I go to Waco.
Okay.
I protested at the CDC. I went to the CNN headquarters in Atlanta. Going to DC this 4th of July. I travel with red pill, conservative, pro-American signs, and do shit like that.
Yeah, that's
Okay, cool. So make sure you guys
that's great.
get up with him. Make sure you get his link posted so that we can get some people to follow Hippies for Trump. So, all right. Well, I think, Hippie, I'm going to drop you out. I'm going to try to bring up somebody else if they want to come up here and have a chat with us. I appreciate you so much joining us, and your tile work is awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good one, brother.
Wonderful day. I truly enjoy y'all. Y'all always bringing awesome content. So it's been a true pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace. All
right, who's the next victim for the assault by Pete and Alex? I mean, it's not really an assault. It might be a mild abusing, but I don't know if we'd qualify as assault.
I speak the truth, no facts, just truth.
Absolutely, because facts just get in the way of truth.
They get in the way of everything.
But, all right, so if somebody else wants to jump up here, please, by all means, do it. That's what this show is about. We've got about 20 minutes left on the clock here, and the subject is still law. And how do you feel about the way you're seeing our law being used? And I'm not even going to use this as an opportunity to talk about common law, natural law, maritime law, all the things that shouldn't exist. But I'm just talking about the way things are right now. And guess what? We have a Wake Up to join us here live this afternoon. That's awesome. Welcome, Awake.
Hey guys, how you doing, Alex? How you doing, Pete?
Hi.
Awesome.
Good to hear that.
So what do you think about this subject matter?
The laws or the lawlessness? Or both?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be both. The subject within the middle somewhere.
Well, it appears that we have a paradigm of what is the law and who it applies to, as we see going on in Seattle with the Antifa movement, where they have taken over a city. That is lawlessness. However, the mayor decided to stand down and allow lawlessness to take over that particular area. So I find that absolutely like, wait a minute. We are a land of laws. That's what keeps us, the way we are. That's what makes us the United States of America. Right. When we have mayors standing down and turning, a blind eye to lawlessness, it sets a very bad example for the rest of the country. And no different than the governor there, who said, well, I didn't know anything was going on in Seattle. Well, if you're a governor and you don't know what's going on in Seattle, you probably shouldn't be in your seat. Right?
That was just a way to get off of the subject, because the guy's not stupid. He knows what's going on in the middle of his state.
Of course.
He knows what's going on.
I have no recollection.
That was a stupid statement for him to make.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, there's key words to excuse yourself from a subject that makes you uncomfortable. But Awake. So what do you see as where's our path? What's next?
Well, I see solutions, but we need good, strong leadership. And unfortunately, what's going on, in my humble opinion, is they've got Trump. They're trying to hold him to the fire that if he makes a move, which he could, because he is still the president of the United States, he could, with the pen, make a move. He could call the National Guard in and clean that mess up. But then, of course...
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Okay?
Go ahead.
Just when I want to ask you one question. What happens when one of those Antifa dudes, or whoever you want to call them, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, who are standing behind the plastic barriers, pops off a 5.56 round and hits a National Guardsman in the chest. What happens then?
Then you have what's called a bloodbath. Right?
That's the answer I was looking for.
Well, it's the truth. Well,
Yeah.
first off, they are declaring that they are not part of the United States.
Yes.
They are declaring that they are their own entity.
Exactly.
So if which we know is bullshit, but regardless, if they are their own entity, then gloves are off, in my opinion. First off, you can't actually take over territory in the United States and claim it to be your own. So they are a foreign entity by self proclamation of that.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
But here's another tidbit that I don't think that they realized when they declared themselves a sovereign nation independent of the United States. Mm-hmm. They are also not protected under constitutional law. No. So they have, in a sense, denounced their citizenship to this country, and they have forgiven their responsibilities and their protections under the Constitution. So this idea that they have rights and that they have protection, they have expelled that themselves. Exactly. So if the president does go in there, they can bitch about it. But what we are actually doing is we will have to reconquer a nation that has formed within our nation to get it back under the Union and under the protections of the Constitution.
Well, it says that when they take their oath, that it would be in regard to police, military, and legislature, executive branch. They swear to protect the country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Right. So this is a domestic enemy of the country. So therefore, I can't even.
Absolutely.
Here's the optic I'm going to give both of you. Okay. I want you to picture this in your heads and how it's going to work out. Nobody on mainstream media is going to call this a separate country from the United States. Nobody in mainstream media is going to do anything but placate to these young kids who are autonomous. Now, we all know what the law says. We all know everything that can be done under the law.
Right.
But what is the optic going to be? The optic is going to be hundreds and hundreds of dead young Americans in the streets of Seattle. And that's all the optic's ever going to be. They're never going to look at them as enemy combatants. They're never going to look at them as an autonomous. That's the problem.
We are being ruled by emotion.
That's right. Oh my God.
Until we can get over this deal where everybody's worried about what somebody will say.
Yes. And that's the only reason why you have these guys there.
Well,
right. So what we need to do is we need to do a media blackout. Go ahead, Awake.
Well, the media is tainted. We all know that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the younger generation has been indoctrinated and brainwashed to believe whatever mainstream media throws their way. We know this.
Yes.
So this is a situation where I think we should use military might and dismantle this city, this country within a country, because that is against our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done without necessarily bloodshed.
Absolutely.
But they need to surround it. Someone needs to take charge. Someone's going to need to. Otherwise, if they don't nip this in the bud really quick, you're going to have copycat cities.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And they're going to copycat.
Yeah, the other thing is,
and get slaughtered. And then it all stops.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. The problem is that this cannot just be a target at the Chads or whatever. That's only part of the problem. The governor, the mayor, the attorney general, and any chief of police that has gone in favor of this and stood their men down in order to allow this to happen, they need to all be removed and publicly arrested.
They're
because
treasonous.
You can't just take out this little city. Right. You have to take out the power structure that's going to put it all right back in place after the government leaves. That's the problem we have.
But here, hold on. I'm trying to be, I don't know, I guess the devil's advocate, or maybe just the realist in the group here. But
Well, you got the devil part right.
Trump's biggest thing, his biggest obstacle to overcome is with white suburban women to get to vote for him. That's his biggest obstacle. It's always been his biggest obstacle since he ran down the escalator. How do you think it's going to play out if Trump orders the military in and all these white suburban women who are potentially voters for Trump see these young white males and females, by the way, dead in Seattle, murdered by the U.S. military, ordered by the president?
Well, my understanding, there was a movement to bring bikers for Trump. They were
That's
all
not going to happen.
No, there was past tense an intent for them to go there.
It's still happening.
Oh, it is. I
It's
heard
still happening. They renamed it.
What did they rename it?
Originally, what originally was going to happen is they were talking about the Hells Angels rolling with the Mongols and the outlaws that were going to be there, plus the bikers for Trump and the Oath Keepers. The problem is they were getting negative feedback. So the mission is still a go. It's planned for the 4th of July. And what they've done is they've changed it from the co-op ride of outlaws. They've changed it to a patriot gathering or patriot movement.
Right.
Where
and here's what's
they are still going to be there. And on the 4th of July, go ahead.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. If that does actually occur, the Seattle Police Department will surround all 6 blocks, armored up, body armor, sticks, ARs, rooftop snipers, you name it, to protect the people in the autonomous zone.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't they? Wait a minute. Weren't they told that they were thrown out of the police? They were thrown out of their precinct, told to stand down, and they're all about defunding the police.
The police are in the precinct right now. They let them walk in.
But here's the thing.
They let them walk right in.
Yeah, but you know what? They only let them walk in to get stuff, and then they were back out again. You got to double check on that one because they're back out. They're not allowed back in.
As of this morning, they were occupying the police station. That was as of this morning. I don't know about this afternoon or anything like that, but as of this morning.
Well, that's
so.
Yeah, they were occupying.
The way I understood it is that they were going to be allowed to go in and get sensitive material.
Right. My question is, if they defund the police and they don't want no cops, blah blah blah, that's their whole theme. No cops, no police.
Right.
So what? They can call the police when the bikers arrive, but when Antifa takes over, nope, they defund the police. They don't want any cops involved.
No.
So
the bikers will not handle what they're going to do. They will protect.
Well, here's the thing:
autonomous zone at all costs.
What's going to happen is you're not going to have the intention is not to create violence. They are simply going to go there in massive numbers and they're going to move the barricades. So it can be peaceful, but it's going to be entirely up to the people that are in the autonomous zone, how they want to move forward. But the initial step is going to be peaceful, and the police are resigning in such massive numbers up there. I don't think that they would have enough to put any kind of a stop to this.
No, Raymond Kessner.
You got to look at it.
Says police will resign in mass. Pete, if this happens, Pete, you need to think before you make such statements. The police will do what the mayor of the city tells them to do. Otherwise, they can quit. And unless they want to lose their job and their pensions, they will defend what the mayor tells them to defend. And the mayor think this is a festival. So if the bikers for Trump or the Hells Angels or whoever the hell wants to go in there, their one intention is to tear down what's there. They won't allow it to happen because this is making a statement for Seattle.
Then
I look at things in a realistic way. I don't just
My-
pull shit out of my ass
Then
because
this
I think it
means-
sounds good.
My question is
This
this
means that the
to you,
what's
gentlemen.
that?
Yes.
Okay, now Chaz or Chop or whatever you want to call it. No, they've changed their name to Chop. Not joking. You can't make this stuff up.
You can't.
So they
Butcher
took
block.
over, but yet they depend upon the infrastructure, that being the electrical grid, the
Yes.
water, the sewer, the cell phone
Absolutely.
towers. It could be easy to shut them off from the supplies,
Yes.
the supply line that is provided by the United States infrastructure. Cut off their electric, cut off their water, cut off
Yep.
their ability to use their cell phones, and
Mhm.
let them sort it out. Let them make their own tobacco. Let them figure out how to grow their own food. Let them
Yes.
figure it all out.
I did
Why
that
should
on
we
my
have-
D-Live show last night. I
And that's-
planned that whole thing out. You're absolutely right. That's what they should do.
Because
this
they
is
are
where
their,
it
they're
goes
their own
back
country.
again.
They're their own entity, right?
Yes.
Right. They need
Absolutely.
to have their own supporting system. But
You
this is
got it.
where
Why should
I mention again, the only way that it's going to change is first you have to arrest the people that are protecting it, that are making the decisions to allow it to continue. Those get arrested. Then the communication breaks down between the foreign nation and their allies in this country. And then you can move forward with removing their infrastructure capabilities and their the water supply and stuff like that. But if you don't take out the ones at the top they are literally the ones controlling and coordinating this thing, then there will be no other option except for a bloodbath. And as far as the cops lining up, yes, you're going to have some that will be subservient to their overlords. But just like the military, you're going to have a great number of them that are going to turn around and stand with the Patriots, because the last thing that somebody wants to do that is a constitutionalist of any kind is to turn against the Patriots. So, 30% of the military is going to turn against the people, which is a pathetic number. And it's probably a realistic number among the cops too. But that's not going to be enough of a number to stop anybody from doing anything. I don't think they're going to have the power that they think they're going to have at the end of this thing.
I mean, I see what you're saying, Alex, to hold those in positions of power, help hold them accountable. Meantime, that's not being done. Nothing's happening.
No.
And this is
Right.
being allowed to fester. And the longer they let it go on, this is in my humble opinion, you're going to see copycat cities that are going to say, hey, we're not part of the United States. Welcome to Chaz 2 or Chop 3 or whatever the hell they want to call it. They need to nip it in the bud like yesterday.
And that's all going to happen in these liberal-run
Exactly.
cities. That's not going to happen in conservative-run cities,
That is
because
correct.
the citizenry of those cities will put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Not the police, not the mayors, not the whatever. The citizens
people.
will come out and say, if you want to fight, we'll fight. In the cities that they're in now in Seattle, these people voted for this. They're complicit in this.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Remember, the Democrat Party in majority is selected, not elected. They've been cheating on elections since probably John F. Kennedy was shot, because
Yep.
they didn't want to have another one that was like him ending up in the White House again. So the
Why
system has
aren't they
been broken
trying
a
this
long
in the
time.
Ozarks? Why aren't they trying this in Oklahoma and Wisconsin and Idaho and all these places in the middle of the country? Why aren't they doing it there? If they can do it so easily in
Well-
Seattle, why can't they do it there? Because they're afraid to get
Are
shot
they
in
not?
the face by the people, not the
Yeah, but
cops, the people.
Do we know that the liberal cities aren't setting up to get ready to do their own autonomous zone? Do we really
It would
know
be
that?
all
We know the
over-
countryside is going to defend it.
It would be all over the news. Alex, for as many news things that we're on, off grid and on grid, you would know it. We would know something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking over here at my D-Live for a minute. But the thing is, there is one they're attempting to set it up in Portland. And we know about Portland. That's the home of Antifa. That's one of their
That's
hubs.
right.
So they are attempting to set one up there. But you know how much news time it got?
Yeah,
It got
nothing.
about maybe 15 seconds of news time. So how do we
Right.
know they're not completely set up and functioning as a autonomous unit in Portland? We really
You
don't.
You don't.
The news will
Unless
tell you
somebody
what
on
they
the
want you
streets
to
there.
know. They want to get it
Well,
put together quietly so that they can implement what they want without a lot of uproar. And then
The
when
minute
everything's
that,
in place, it's a lot harder to get it shut down.
okay, the minute that they implement something in the wrong place and they find people stuffed into garbage cans, they're going to change their minds. These people are not combat. They're not combat ready. They're a bunch of kids in
No,
a
they're not.
commune. They're Bernie Sanders in the 60s. This is what these people are. They're not ready to see their friends' brains splattered all over their laps. They're not ready for this.
They think they are. I just
Well,
want to
they
say,
think
Pam
they
M,
are.
you've got a lot of good points over there on D Live. So,
She definitely does.
yeah, we need to
Definitely. I've been reading
shut them down. Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, I say this all
well,
the time.
can you see? I don't know.
They're not ready to handle being swept up with a mop and a sponge and put in a bucket and brought home to mom and dad. They're just not ready for that. And the minute that does happen, all this will go away. Being
I
accidentally
want to
run
add
over.
somebody else
I
up
have-
here to the stream. What is this?
I'll just give you a real quick. It's real quick. Antifa threatens destruction in downtown Kalispell, and these Montana men say no, and they are protecting this monument from being destroyed. They got wind that Antifa was intending to go there and destroy this monument, like a lot of our history and monuments are being torn down. Well, these fine men decided it's not going to happen in their town, their hometown. So that's an
Where was this
example.
at?
You said like in Montana.
Montana.
Kalispell.
Okay, so
you realize the
So
did
a
you
bunch
realize
of
that
guys showed up.
they teeth-faced and they tried
I'm
to
just saying-
destroy the Buffalo Soldier Monument?
The 54th.
This is Black Lives Matter
Yes.
doing this.
Yes. So a bunch of people in this Montana town walked over to this monument with weapons, I'm almost positive, and said, not happening. If you want to come over here, you're going to get shot. And guess what happened? Awake, why don't you tell me what happened?
Absolutely nothing.
How is it defaced? How is it destroyed?
It wasn't destroyed because people, like I'm showing on the screen here,
yes,
they're standing guard. And let me see if I can. I don't have the volume up, but I'm trying to show you. They're armed citizens, and they're protecting the monument. And they're saying, not in our town, you don't. But it's
so this just happens.
Yeah, well, that needs to happen more often.
So it's the citizen.
I mean, yeah, it's going to take weapons to stop it. But then going back to my subject at the very beginning of the show, you've got the Second Amendment attack basically being pacified and allowed by the Supreme Court because they are refusing to hear cases that directly impact the citizenry about their Second Amendment. So it's going to be up to the people. At some point, you're going to have to say piss on the law, since the left does it also. And you're going to have to just step in there and defend with the Second Amendment that we were given by God, not by this paper that is behind me. It was the paper is designed to protect us from the government, not to give us our rights.
Yeah.
Well, I consider, and this is just in my humble opinion, I consider Antifa not part of our government. They are a domestic, even though because they're in our country, they're domestic terrorists, in my humble opinion, because they do not want to be considered part of, the United States. Like when they took over that city or that area in Seattle, tearing down monuments in our history and our, basically they're trying to rewrite history. If it doesn't agree with their agenda, they're going to destroy it, dismantle it. And that's wrong. And that's criminal. And they should be prosecuted to the full extent.
You would think, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you hated this country
You're
so
wrong.
much, if you hate this country so much,
Then leave.
you would leave.
Yeah.
You would go to Russia.
Yeah, you really would.
Where it's already a communist country. Go to Russia and live the rest of your life happy. They would welcome
what I
you
say,
with
Pete.
open arms.
That's what
Do you
I
wanna
say,
know
Pete.
why?
Yep.
Do you want to know why they don't go?
Because in those countries,
They
if
know
they
better.
acted like that, they would get shot, and then their families would get charged for the bullet.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
These young kids that are part of Antifa, they don't know what Antifa really is. They don't know what it was based on. They don't want to die. They want to be able to tell their grandchildren 40 years from now, your granddad did that. I was one of the anti-Trumpers.
Right.
I occupied this city. I did this and I did that. That's all they want to do. They're not out for change.
Yeah.
You know what brings change? Do you know what brings change? Anywhere?
Dollar bills. Usually
This.
when you pay with dollar bills, you get some change back.
This brings change.
Oh, that
This is
change.
the
Right.
only
Yeah.
thing that brings change.
Absolutely.
And they're not willing to go that far. They're not willing to take it that far. That is the only thing that brings change. And you can discredit that back all the way to the beginning of time. You can go back to muskets, you can go back to rocks, you can go back to throwing dirt in somebody's face to take their cave woman away or beating them over the head with a club. Sheer naked violence is the only thing that will effect change in this country. And right now, at this particular moment, nobody has the guts to do it. They don't have the stomach to do it.
All right, everybody take your clothes off. We're getting ready to have some naked violence. So we're going to all do this together.
A dumpster muppet.
Anyway, so that is my right. That is my hour, and I
I'm
hope
not done yet.
that you guys have enjoyed it. It's been
Thank you.
Oh, I
Thank
know
you,
you're
Alex
not, but
and Pete,
Thank you, Awake.
for letting me
you're
have a
awesome.
little voice.
Wake up. I hope one of my moderators will take a minute and run a Wake Up's link for me, please, because she has some very interesting talk shows at night with a good
Every night.
panel, great
Way too late
content.
to be a Patriot, I'll
Yep,
tell you that
fun
much.
to do.
I'm the insomniac hour for those people who can't sleep.
It's gotten progressively
Right.
later and later and later and later.
Oh yeah, I run about 11 o'clock until 5
Right.
a.m. So
That's
it's for the insomniacs or people who live on the West Coast. But yeah, I'm the insomniac hours.
Thank
and my co-host
Awesome.
Tim Foyle
Thank you
is
for that
planning on
super chat, Michael.
Tim Foyle, my co-host,
co-host
is planning on
is what
going
now?
to Chaz today. I told
Mm-hmm.
her not to go, but she insists on going because she was raised in Seattle and she wants her city back as
Right.
well. So I told her she went with some armed guards, if you will. So I just told her to be
Cool.
very careful.
Awesome.
She's going to do what she wants to do.
Yeah,
She's
we'll
a
look for
grown
that
woman.
tonight.
Okay, well,
See
thank
if
you,
she's got
gentlemen.
some footage for us tonight. Thank you. Appreciate you coming. We'll see you tonight. All right, Pete. That was awesome. That's a hell of a show. I kind of had a feeling just talking about law that it was really going to bring up some close at heart issues. And that's what we need to do. This is how we're going to get this done, is by getting people in the conversation and, talking about how we go forward, because nobody wants to talk about how to go forward. They only want to talk about how we got here.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to just tell you something. I am not one to advocate for violence. I don't like fighting. I did it my whole life growing up because of issues I've had, and I don't like fighting. But you got to understand the reality of things. You got to understand the history of things. When I say that violence solves everything, if you can name me one thing that violence hasn't solved through history, I'd like to know about it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a war. It can be an assassination. It can be an execution. It can be a war. Violence solves everything. And I don't mean to say that because I'm a violent person. I'm totally anti-violent. But when I say a bucket and a sponge is the only way that these people are going to stop what they're doing, I mean that. I mean that. Optics is everything. For as much as we want people to storm the barricades, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm just being a realist. I'm not being somebody who's advocating for violence. I'm being a realist. And that's the way I am.
Right.
I can't help it.
Well,
I do
you're
love
awesome.
winning.
Just stay the way you are.
Yeah,
But,
well,
all right, brother. It was awesome. And as always, I appreciate the hell out of you. Look forward to doing this again Monday.
Yes.
Make sure that you guys are definitely subscribed to Pete the Patriot. And, you know, he's going to have an auction coming up when tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, yes. Tomorrow night, my auction to help the homeless. Gonna have some cool stuff, a lot of US collectibles. So hope to see you all there. And for everybody who is in my show at 11 o'clock,
awesome.
I told you Alex was gonna trigger me.
I just
told you.
God bless you, brother. I'm just glad to help. All right. I'm going to leave it with this. It says in our Constitution that any law written that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void upon its inception. So just leave you with that thought. Anyway,
hold the phone. You got the give me hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone. Breaking news. Donald Trump will unveil police reform plan on Tuesday that will, W-I-L-L in capital letters, say that there is systemic racism. What?
Well, that's
will
interesting.
Meet with black families that suffered at the hands of cops. If he puts out an executive order saying that there is systemic racism in this country, I will have a huge friggin' issue with that. A huge issue with that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one.
Okay,
but
let's go.
I think we need to wait till Tuesday and see what that brings up. Maybe that'll be an interesting show to talk about on Wednesday or something. But
yes,
all right, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out. And thank you to all my moderators for keeping the house in order. And everybody chose to hang out with us for an hour. Appreciate my two guests, Miss Wake Up. She's got an awesome channel. And Hippies for Trump joined us. Make sure you guys subscribe to them both. Help them out. Get them growing a little bit. Everybody over here on D Live, God bless you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for the diamonds and the ice creams and the snow cones and everything else that comes with the food bank. Also, the super chats over here on my YouTube. Appreciate the hell out of you. God bless everybody and stay in the fight.